You are watching 2+U Nevada. Joining us this afternoon, Jesse Blackburn and Janet Rivas. Jesse is the Director of Bereavement Services and the chaplain at Circle of Life Hospice, and Janet is the Vice President of Operations. Thank you both for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We were just talking, I explained my family history. My grandmother passed away of COPD, and she had signed up for hospice well before she needed it. And it just made the experience as the surviving family members, it was a beautiful experience to see her pass on in a very nice way. And I think when people think of hospice, they just think death.
Yeah.
And that's a bad word.
Yep.
But let's talk about what Circle of Life does to help families go through the death of somebody.
Yeah. So we really have a whole team that you get assigned to. So you'll have a nurse, a CNA if you'd like, spiritual care, social work, all the entities come together. And it really is, the way I explained to them, we're coming to you now. So now you don't have to go outside to the hospital, to different specialists. The idea is for you to be a daughter now and for us to take off a little bit of that load. So however that looks like, it's different for everybody, but I feel like we really try to curate it to where everybody feels supported.
Yeah, for sure.
And Jesse, it's also if somebody or if a family plans ahead, you as the chaplain can also kind of hold the family's hand.
It is. It's really about just being present. You know, that's really big, to be there, to provide listening ear of support, provide that emotional support, spiritual support if that's what they choose. It's really what they want and what their needs are.
Janet, we were talking, do you book out or do people come to you almost emergent? How does that work?
It looks different for everybody. Some people do their research and they'll call ahead as they notice things are progressing. Some people, it's already written in their will. They know what their parents want. It's very case by case, but there are a lot of emergent needs where now it's the decision's been made where there's nothing else they can do. So they're quickly trying to find hospice. And we hear it so many times where they say, I wish I would have done this sooner. Because the sooner you get that care, that comfort, pain management at home, you would have avoided all those hospital visits and honestly quality of life.
And we obviously are talking about hospice as helping someone transition towards their death. And with that, you said people don't have to go to the hospital as much for pain management. How far out can a person be utilizing hospice? Are we talking weeks or are we talking months?
Yeah. So Medicare standards are 6 months or less. And that's always hard to determine what that looks like for everyone. But that's where the physician usually says, you know, we think you have about 6 months or less, or recurrent hospital visits where what is the conclusion? What are we trying to get at? So mostly wishes to stay at home, but definitely the disease progression if it looks like 6 months or less.
And what sets Circle of Life apart from anywhere else somebody might choose?
Well, Circle of Life is a special place for sure. We're locally owned and operated, so we're not kind of pressed down by big corporate. And our owner, Michelle, she's very big on the quality of care that we give our patients and their families. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's like if her philosophy is this, if you're there for a half hour and they need another half hour, then you stay another half hour. So there's so many things, you know, it's just, I've worked here for years. And one thing that I love about it is the vision that started in 1999 is the same vision that we have today. Nothing has swayed. And that says a lot about ownership.
And people have choice. They have the choice to be able to pick Circle of Life.
Yes, it's very important to understand that you have that choice. It's the law. So you can interview different hospices. A lot of people think, oh, I need to stick with this one because it's with this provider, but it's whatever suits the patient and the family and just whatever feels right for them.
And let's talk myths versus facts of hospice care.
Yeah. So I think a myth is definitely the word, like you said, hospice, right? It's instant. I've heard it where they say, I have to stay in bed now. And I always tell them, no, you can go do whatever you usually do if you're still able to. People don't even know that you can still travel on hospice. So we coordinate with a hospice agency wherever you're traveling to continue receiving that care. So that is a big myth where they think, okay, now I'm bedbound. That's it.
Right. Like really and truly, I'm not doing anything but staying home and dying.
Right.
Where you allow people to live up until their last breath.
Yeah.
That quality of life is so important. And we always joke that the word hospice, the scary word, but it's actually a Latin word for hospitality. So I tell that to people, and it kind of changes they go, oh, wow, I didn't know that.
As a family member who experienced my grandmother's hospice and death with hospice, I just have to say it is such a gift to be able to provide hospice for your family members, because it was actually a beautiful experience for our family. It wasn't traumatic.
That's what I think a lot of people need to hear, because they're so afraid of that. But once you hear that it can be a beautiful death, and I know that can be hard to hear and to really understand, but I think once you've experienced it, you can attest to that.
Well, if somebody is facing this or wants to plan ahead, where do they go?
Definitely go to our website, colhospice.com, or call us at 775-827-2298, and we can definitely provide information in person at any time.
Jesse, Janet, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You're watching 2+U Nevada.